Hello and welcome to this third episode of Rives Creative Journal. My name is Geneviève, Geneviève.versapin on Instagram, Versapin on Ravelry, and this is the YouTube channel of Rives Compagnie, which is a shop you can find at rivescompagnie.com for knitting, sewing, all of that, and inspiration as well, and workshops. So welcome, and I am coming to you from Montérégie near Montreal in Quebec, Canada. I hope you are well. Since last we spoke, I have done, I would say, half of what I had planned. What happened is that my little boy is growing some teeth, so some big teeth at the back of his mouth, pre-molars, just before the molars. So he has been sick a lot, not sleeping well for the past 2 weeks, so I'm just generally tired. It's fine, it's worse for him, really. He's so miserable, but now he's a bit better, so today I could send him to daycare. He was not feverish anymore, and he was half smiling, so I thought it could do him some good to see his friends and play and see someone else than his worried mom. So yes, so everything has taken a bit of a backseat, but it's fine, it happens, and it was really sweet to take care of him as he was asking for me a lot, so it's a privilege as well. Last time we talked a lot about sewing. Today it's going to be knitting and sewing, all a bit intertwined, as I am more and more thinking of my projects together. So I hope you will enjoy it. It's not going to be like knitting and then sewing. It's all a bit together. First of all, what am I wearing? I am wearing the Darren Tee by Jacqueline Cieslak. With a Centauri dress by Direndo, and I've filmed a little clip to show you the whole outfit full length. I am so pleased with this outfit. It is something I really saw in my mind, and I'm really pleased of how it turned out. It's exactly what I wanted. Let's talk about the tee first. So it's the Darren Tee that comes from Embody, Jacqueline Cieslak's first book, published with Pom Pom. I'm not sure how much I talked about this last time, I'm so sorry. It's just we are doing lives on Instagram at the Rive for our product releases, and so I'm a bit confused about what I talked about where. So if this is a repeat, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go a bit faster. So in this book you have, this book is really dear to my heart because it mixes sewing and knitting, which is so great. So there's one sewing pattern called Woolfork, one knitting pattern called Darren, and there's an Epson, I think, so a knitting pattern. So there's a knitting pattern for a scarf that is kind of a standalone thing, but the pattern for the knitting pattern called Darren is really versatile, and so is Woolfork, the sewing pattern. So basically you have kind of basic patterns that you can transform to your liking. With the knitting pattern you can do, so there's a long sleeve, a short sleeve. You could also adjust it to the length you want. There's this really pretty rounded neckline, which is something I really love. And you can finish it with I-cord or ribbing. And you can have crop length, full length. You can make it into a cardigan, so it's very versatile. So many versions possible, and you can also play with yarn choices and make it, it's very useful. And the same goes for the sewing pattern. I haven't explored it as much. I haven't sewn it yet, so it's on my list definitely, but as I understand it, I just don't want to say, like, just see all the technical drawings, beautiful. It's very versatile as well. Many sleeve a sleeve option that you can do in different lengths of garment. You can do a crop sleeveless tee or a dress. It's pockets or not. It's wonderful. You can really do what you would like and envision different outfits and so on. So I basically made the tee version of the Darren, and I knitted it in, so it's knitted in a vegetable fiber, so in cotton linen, and it's a yarn we have at Rives. We are so happy to have this. It's called Rives, and it's 60% organic cotton and 40% linen, 350 meters per 100 grams. It's a fingering weight, and it's a wonderful yarn. So, and it's, I should have said this first, it is dyed by Christine Fiocco of Les Arts Textiles du Témiscouata. We're so lucky to have this at the shop. It is, maybe you think linen yarn and you think, oh, it's kind of harsh, but not harsh, but stiff somehow, even waxy at time, because linen is such a cool fiber, but it really gets more and more beautiful over time. So you will need a couple of washes before you get into the golden part of your garment. So if you know the fabric washed linen, it's a fabric I really like to use. Anything that says washed linen, it's usually like, it has all the cool properties of linen, but it's already been washed a couple times, so it's already soft. And the way Christine works this yarn makes it a kind of washed linen to me. It's really soft. It's still a vegetable fiber, like it's not merino soft, but it's really soft and drapey already. And yeah, it's just a really nice yarn. I find it hard to find nice cotton yarns or nice linen yarn, and this has everything I like. Yes. And we have beautiful colors available on the website. Suggest you take a look. It's such summery colors, and they all have a numbers name. So this is deux, French number name, because when we were developing this capsule with Christine, she would send us swatches of the colors, and she had numbered them, and they just kept, like, so we picked the ones we wanted, and they kept their numbers throughout the process, so at the end it just became their name. So it's really sweet. This is deux, which is chartreuse, yellow green, so springy, summery, beautiful. And I'm wearing the color one, which is blue, mid blue, purpley, really pretty color. Yeah, I just love it. And this yarn really shows, has good stitch definition. I think for this project is just perfect. If you know the Darren, you may think, wasn't it like a DK weight or sport weight garment? Yes, it is. But so basically, Jacqueline Cislak talks about yarn choices in the book, of course, and for most of her versions, she just mixed. Oh, sorry, the light will alter because the sun is going behind the clouds and coming back out, so I hope it's fine. Yes, so Jacqueline did most of her version holding two yarns together, so either two light fingerings together or a mohair and a fingering, which makes a bit of a sport DK weight, knitted on 3.75 needles. So I swatched, but I thought It's 24 stitches per 10 centimeters, and everybody knits differently, and for me 24 stitches per 10 centimeters is basically a fingering gauge for me. So I thought I could get away with it. I tried it on 3.75 needles. I thought, yeah, it's a bit big for fingering, but it could also be really cool summery fabric, meaning it's a bit loose of a fabric. So I thought it would be really cool, but my swatch was way too big. So I don't know what's happening with my tension right now. It's crazy out of proportion. Like it's just off the chart. So I went down needle size until I was at 275, and then I'm still not on gauge. At 275 I have 22 stitches per 10 centimeters, but I wasn't gonna go any lower, basically because I didn't have the right needles and the right cable length lower than that. So I decided to go ahead and just pick the size accordingly. So I just did a bit of math and realized that if I knitted the size 3, I would get the right measurements for me in the end. So basically picked a size smaller than what I should have because my swatch was bigger. And it's perfect. I really like it. Also, I did the crop version, and I had a very specific length in mind. I really wanted to the T to hit right at the waistline of the dress I'm wearing. So, and the dress is really on my waist, so my natural waist is here, and I wanted the T to finish right at that point. And it has a bit of a high-low, so it has a dropped hem at the back, which is really pretty, but I wanted the front to be right here, and I'm so pleased that I nailed it, and it's right, it's the perfect length. So what I did is you start by knitting the back, and then you pick up for the shoulders. Jacqueline has really great videos on her website. She really takes you by the hand, and I enjoyed this because even though I'm an experienced knitter, when it comes to picking up stitches, I always doubt myself that I'm doing it right, I'm always thinking, is there a better way I should be doing this? Is this gonna be look good? So just to have the person who imagined the pattern show you how she wants you to pick up stitches, it's so great. And she has videos for picking up the stitches at the shoulders, picking up the stitches at the sleeve and the neckband. So it's really great. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for these videos. So yes, you knit the back, and then you pick up for the shoulders, and then you go down, and then you join to knit in the round. Then you could just keep on doing the body, and and then do the sleeves and the neckband. But I really had a specific length in mind for the body. So what I did is, before you knit this is an I-cord, but you could also do ribbing. Before you knit the neck finishing, the neck is really wide, depending on the yarn you choose, of course, and the way you knit. But for me, the neck was really wide, and the armholes as well were really big. So it didn't give me a good feel for what the length of the finished garment would be. So I joined in the round under the arms and knitted for, I would say, 5 centimeters, and then I stopped and I knit the sleeves and the neck finishing. So then everything kind of just held better, and I could see then what length I should make, at what point I should start my ribbing. And of course, because I had done the ribbing on the sleeve, I knew the exact measure of my ribbing, so I could really stop at the right point. And I knew also a cotton linen yarn, I knew it wouldn't move a lot when blocking, so I was pretty confident, and I'm super happy with the finished length. It hits right the right spot. And sometimes when I move around, it rides up just a little bit, and I find it really cute that it rides up a bit. But if I place it correctly, it hits at the right spot. Because if you make a crop that is, like my waist is cinched in right here, and that this is a silhouette I like on me, and if it was longer than this, it would kind of hit below the place where it's cinched in, and I would lose all that effect of that cinched in effect, right? So it's okay, but I really want it to sit right here so you still have this cinched in waist showing, and I find it really flattering. And I was doubting that drop hem in the back, but I just trusted her and did it, and I'm really happy with the result. So there you go. She also has, so embodied, the why behind the book is, let me see if she has a key phrase I could say, because I don't want to distort her why. That's kind of important. There are some texts in here that are really great, but basically, and I'm sorry if I'm not choosing the right words exactly, but basically she says that every body should have perfectly well fitting garments, clothes. And this is so close to my heart because it's my why also. I want, with our business, with Rives, with the workshops that we do, with these journals that I'm doing, I really want to get the word out there that in knitting and sewing, you can develop the skills to fit the clothes to yourself and not try to fit your body in your clothes. This is so important. And Jacqueline hits the bullseye with that book. So you can achieve the fit you want for yourself. There's no one way clothes should fit. For example, I like things to be cinched in at the waist, but that may not be your preference. You can really use your skills. It's kind of a superpower. You can use your skills to modify patterns, and choosing patterns, choosing the right fabric, and then having the skills to modify patterns to achieve the exact fit you want is so great. It is so great. So in the book, she shows you a couple of adjustments you can do. So there's a bicep adjustment, there is bust darts, different sizes of bust darts that you can add to have a better fit at the bust. There is a hip adjustment. It's really great. I didn't do the bicep adjustment. I could have done, but instead I liked that it was close fitting, and I just had to really do a loose bind off, because when I tried it on at first, my bind off was too tight and I wasn't happy with it. So I just did a really loose. It's a standard bind off, but just I took a bigger needle to make sure that it's really loose, and I really like the fit. I didn't do a bust dart either because I thought it would be fine, and I'm fine with it riding up just a bit at the front. I knew it was the fit I wanted, but perhaps for if I knit a real pullover version, I might include the bust dart so it stops the fabric from riding back. The only thing for me is something I'm noticing in all my, I think I'm just noticing it now. It has always been like that, but I'm kind of focusing on it now. I tend to have too much fabric here. And it's not just with this knitted garment, it's with the things I've sewn recently. I think I'm really narrow. I knew I had narrow shoulders, but I think I'm narrow here. And that maybe, just maybe, it's something I could learn to adjust in knitting patterns or sewing patterns. You need a bit of extra here, of course, to move. But I think I have too much extra. Maybe it's just, I'm just overcomplicating things. But I could learn to maybe adjust this if I was really clever. I don't know, still thinking about it. But really happy with this tee, and the yarn choice is perfect for it. Oh yeah, also I think I did my I-cord a bit tight, and I'm still toying with the idea of ripping it back and doing it again a bit looser, just because it pulls on some stitches. But at the same time, I really like the width of that neckline here. I wouldn't want it to be bigger, so I think I'm gonna leave it in and just be happy, make peace with the fact that it pulls some stitches. But it's just because yeah, I just knit it tightly. But I think I'm gonna leave it in and make my peace with that. Yeah, so there we go for Darren. I really recommend this pattern. Really fun, super cute, and so many choices. I'm definitely gonna knit it again, I think. Let's talk about the dress I'm wearing underneath. So it's a Centauri dress by Diorndo. I'm gonna include a little clip as well of the full length of the dress. And I need to talk to you about the fabric of the dress, because it's such special fabric. Here is the fabric I want to talk to you about, in which I did my Centauri dress. So basically, with Christine of Les Arts Textiles du Témiscouata, we did a live about this on Instagram, but it's in French, so I'm gonna just talk to you a bit about these. So when we talked to Christine at the very beginning of our business, so if you don't know, Rives Compagnie, the business I have with Paul TB, has just launched this spring, and we've been working on it since autumn 2020, beginning of the autumn, and at the very beginning of our business, we started talking to Christine because she's a friend of Paul, my business partner, and she's just a wonderful dyer. So we wanted her to be part of our project in some way, and she was really nice, and she was really enthusiastic about the project, and she said, I have a summer yarn that I could dye for you. It's cotton linen, I think it would be perfect. So we said yes, please. And dyeing on vegetable fibers, cellulose fibers, is different than dyeing on protein fibers. So for a dyer, it means adapting their technique and their supplies, I think, to be able to dye on cellulose fibers. So Christine said, wait a minute, if I can dye on cotton yarn, maybe I could dye cotton fabric. We said, yes, please. Let's do that. So she sent us some swatches, and we were so happy. It really, so hand-dyed fabric to me is, I really found the joy I have of knitting hand-dyed yarn in its fabric form. So I was so happy when I was cutting my fabric to see and feel the work of Christine in the fabric was so special. So it's a product we're so proud to have, and the response has been great, and there are some left on the website, so if you want to go take a look, I have some here, not all of it, but I have some here. This is the color 2. This is 1. This is 5, and this is 4. And they all have their matching yarn. It's really well explained on the website, but everybody is kind of, we thought of it as a capsule, so everybody goes well with everybody. And it is toile de coton, we called it. It's really your all-purpose cotton, so it's it's medium weight. It's not lightweight, but it's not heavy. It is, it doesn't move because it's tightly woven, so it's really easy to work with. It doesn't move when you cut it, doesn't move when you sew it. It's sturdy, but it has drape also. Let me show you. Took off my Darren. I feel so great in the Darren. I don't want to take it off. But I want to show you the dress, of course. So this cotton is really an all-purpose cotton, as I was saying. So it's perfect. The Centauri has an intricate build in the bodice with diamond shapes, but well, triangular shapes. And it holds those seam lines perfectly. But it also has drape for the skirt. And look at this. It's kind of, I feel like I'm wearing the sky. I feel like I'm wearing a summer sky. It is so pretty. And I love blue. When there's blue in the shop at Rives, you can be sure that it was made to it was my choice, it was my pick. So this blue is wonderful. On the website, I would say our pictures turned out a bit more electric blue than it is. I think we're gonna go back and edit that. So I'm glad I can show you here because I know that sky blue is, we think sky blue, we think more of a pale blue, but it's exactly the color of a summer sky. Like it's exactly the color of the sky today. So I have a blue sky with a couple of clouds in it. It's just beautiful. And it has its yarn match. This is 4 also. So you could think of a project for both using the exact match, or you could do like me and branch out and mix and match. So I mixed it with the color R1. There you go. So we are so pleased with that capsule and so grateful for the work of Christine. That was all about the fabric. Let me talk to you more about the dress in itself. It is the Centauri dress by Dirando. It has a fitted bodice and gathered skirt, and it has an invisible zip to fit in the dress. I made it so it's not super fitted because I want it to be I just didn't want a super fitted dress. So I still have, I would say, 5 centimeters of ease here. You could go more fitted for, I would say, a formal occasion or something, but I just really wanted a summer dress. And it has those really cool bias. They have these really cool, it has these really cool bias binding straps, kind of double straps. My only issue is I have really narrow shoulders, so any strap thing tends to fall off my shoulders. But the one to the inside really fits well. I think I'm just gonna attach in the back where it doesn't show. I'm gonna attach them together so they keep on my shoulders. And it has an intricate bodice with diamond shapes, as I was saying, and a beautiful full skirt, which is perfect to show off a fabric like the one I used. I was telling you in the last journal that I would be super diligent and do a toile, which I never do, but I did because this is such precious fabric, and the bodice, because it has so many pieces, I wanted to make sure it fits before I cut into my fabric. So I did make a toile in this white fabric, and I was really lucky that the toile fit almost perfectly. I removed a centimeter here and there for a better fit, but I could have left it as is. It was a really good fit. The only thing is I lengthened the skirt because Dirando often has too short skirts for my liking, so this Centauri dress finishes above the knee, like good, this much above the knee, how it shows on Camille who wears it, and this is too short for me to be comfortable in. So I lengthened it by 15 centimeters because I wanted it to be below the knee. And it was, after trying on the toile, it was too much. It's kind of too dressy, like too formal to have this long a skirt in this kind of fabric, which is similar to the fabric I was making my final version in. I think if it was a drapier fabric, it would have been fine, but because this is a bit has more of a structured drape, it makes a fuller skirt, so it was too long, it was too dressy. So I reduced the length, but I still have 6 centimeters more than the original version, so that's good. And I will dye, so it's almost finished, the toile. I just need a couple of finishing touches, so shorten the skirt a bit and just cut those excess of straps and fix it nicely in. But other than that, it is done. And I will dye it, as I was saying in my last episode. I will dye it with avocado, I think. It's gonna be a fun experiment, and the worst thing that can happen is that it doesn't work. So it's fine, it's a toile, so it's a good garment to play with. I'm so confident that it's gonna work that I've already put in a pink zip. This is how confident I am. There you go. The Centauré by Diorno, really fun sew, and I'm gonna enjoy wearing it this summer. I'm gonna change into the next dress. Next up is the Myosotis dress by Diorno. I am so pleased with this dress. I'm gonna enjoy it so much. So again, inserting a little clip to show it to you full length. It has a short sleeve. I didn't do the gathered sleeve version, just a short sleeve, but I did the tiered skirt with gathers on the bottom, and it has a bit of a story I'm gonna tell you. And it has this really beautiful bodice with a band collar. It's a good project to dip your toe into shirt making, because you have this simple collar, but it's still a real collar construction, so it's a good place to start if you want to try out shirt making. There you go, and it has a bit of a v-neck and 3 buttons here, and I chose the classic matte off-white by Atelier Brunette, which we have in store. And this is a viscose, very soft, buttery soft viscose, so drapey, that we still have in the shop as well. It's called Royal Blue Floral, I think, and it's so pretty, and it moves so well. Ugh, I feel so confident in this dress. That's funny because it's part of the story I'm going to tell you. I feel really confident in this dress. I talked about the last time making adjustments from my previous versions. So my previous versions are all date from before I had my son, and my body changed quite a bit, and I don't think I'm not expecting it to go back to what it was before. It's unrealistic expectations, and I don't want to put that pressure on myself. So I'm just adjusting my garments to fit me, and it makes me much happier. So one adjustment I did is I added ease in the sleeve. So basically I added 4 centimeters, I think. So it used to be like this when I was wearing it in the last video, my gray version, and now I have more ease, and I'm so comfortable and happy. And I also changed the bust darts because I don't know if that happens to all, but since pregnancy, since breastfeeding, I think mostly, my bust has dropped quite a bit. So every dress I have that is before my pregnancy the bust darts don't point at all to the apex of my bust. So a bust dart should point to the apex of your bust, so the point where your bust is the fullest. And most of my dresses, I have the bust dart going like this. So I need to lower it quite a bit. So I took the time to do that. So basically just lowered the bust dart by, I think, 4 centimeters. So now it's right here and it points to the right spot. And you have a second bust dart that goes up to the apex and it should stop about an inch. So 2.5 centimeters, something like this, below the apex of your bust. So I just had to shorten it. So it used to go right here. And I changed the bust dart point and just redrafted it. And now it stops at the right place. And it's a bit oversized, so it's not dramatic to make these changes, but it just fits so much better now because the versions I have that don't have the right bust darts, I have a bust dart going over my bust. This long one that starts at the waist, I have versions where it just goes over my bust and stops like here, and then the other one is like here, so it doesn't fit so nicely, but I don't think people would notice. But just for me, I just love to have these skills to modify patterns and have it fit the way I want it to fit. And then the little story of the length. So I'm always I'm tall, so I always adjust lengths of skirt. Like I rarely just take the pattern right out of the way it's done and don't check the length of the skirt, because I always have this little hunch that it's gonna be too short. But for whatever reason, I took the skirt of the Musings as it was. I traced off my pattern and cut my fabric, and I was cutting it and thinking, well, this is short. Nah, it's gonna be fine. I was like, oh, no, it's too short. So right before I started sewing, I decided it was too short. Because I was still at the cutting stage, I didn't want to take everything out of the setup I was in and then sew it all and then realize it's too short and then come back to cutting some more fabric. So I decided right at that stage to add a bit of fabric to the skirt. So basically the skirt is tiered like this. I did this version, and this part of the skirt was looking very short to me, but I had cut it already, but I had some fabric left. So I decided to make an extra rectangle here to go right here above the bottom ruffle. And I thought because the fabric is so busy, I could get away with having a seam here joining the extra bit of length. And I was completely right. It doesn't show at all because the fabric is so busy, and I did not pattern match or anything. It's just let me show you. Do you see it? There's the bottom ruffle. Do you see the stitch line in here? No. It is right here. So the fabric is so busy that it really doesn't show. It shows maybe when I move. So, yay for that. The problem is I lengthened it. I lengthened it too much. And I tried it on. And I felt like I was wearing, and I mean this in the sweetest way possible, I felt like I was wearing an old grandma's nightgown. I have a Quebec comedy character in mind, but it won't mean anything to you, but I felt like that character. And let me assure you, it's not flattering. And once the image was in my mind, it wasn't going out. So So yeah, so I didn't feel great about the length of the skirt. I felt like it was frilly and old. Yeah. But this is the point I want to make, is how important is a skirt length. It can change a garment completely. We talked about it a bit with the Centauri. It depends on the proportion of your garments, on what you want. Is it a formal or is it playful or whatever? It depends on the fabric choice. Like if it's drapey or if it's more structured, it changes completely the feel of the garment. So the skirt length is really important, and it can change completely how you feel about your garment. So I shortened the piece I added to lengthen it. I shortened it. I'm gonna take off my dress and show you what I mean. Just to show you, so basically this is my dress to the inside, and so what happens here is you have the top piece of the skirt, you have the bottom piece, and I added this kind of rectangle here. So it was too large, and then I just reduced the width of that rectangle because I really did not want to take out the bottom piece, because I had done all the work of gathering it and stitching it, and it's quite a wide piece, so it's quite long to distribute your gathers evenly and so on. So I basically unpick this seam here, reduce the width of that rectangle, and stitch it back on. And I have, so all in all, at the end of it, I have extended the top skirt by 5 centimeters. And let me tell you, it is the 5 centimeters of glory. It is what makes me, so I went from feeling from wearing an old frilly nightgown to feeling like $1 million. I feel so confident in that dress. And I think if it was the original length of the pattern, it might have been fine, but I think I would have felt just a bit uncomfortable. It would have been just a bit too short, like 5 centimeters too short. Now it hits right at the knee, like right on top of the knee, and I'm so happy with it. A really fun dress to make. It's my 4th version, and I'm still so in love with that pattern. Depending on the fabric you choose, it can look so different. It would also look really good in these cottons, I think. These cottons, while I think about it, would be really great for, so they are easy to sew. They are somewhat structured. Their drape is somewhat structured, so they would be great for this kind of dress, which has a structured bodice, but still is oversized and a gathered skirt. You can see from my Centauri that this fabric handles gathers really well. And if nobody claims this length of fabric here, the 2, it's gonna go to my fiancé. I'm gonna make him a shirt. I would like someone to claim it. Don't be shy. But if it doesn't leave, I'm gonna make a shirt, because it's really good shirt fabric as well. A shirt for André. He would be happy about that. I was gonna talk to you about my progress on the aubépine dresses I plan to do, that we talked about last time, but I think I talked about alterations and adjustments, and I don't want to scare you off. I'm gonna talk about it next time, because I did some alterations as well in the bodice to achieve the fit I want. So I still have a bit of knitting to show you. So works in progress. I have made a bit of progress on my Crassi Zauberball sock that I talked about in my first journal. Simple vanilla sock, 3x1 ribbing, and really enjoying to see the color changes. So I think I may work on it some more. Yeah, really fun, simple knit, no fuss knit. Yes, and I think this is the Shooting Star colorway, or not the Foggiest colorway. They are so similar. So, Krassit Zauberball by Chapelle Vola. Available in the shop, of course. Knitting Dreams. Have you seen the Celeste Tea by Sari Nollund? Have you seen it on your Instagram or Ravelry? I was waiting for it. I was so happy it's out. I am so happy it's out. Yes, if you are an attentive viewer, you will remember that in my first journal I said I have another Sari Nollund on my needles, and I said I was gonna finish that one, not pause it, because I really want to wear it. It's the Sawyer pullover by Sari Nollund, and I didn't keep my word. I did put it on pause because I have a good reason. It's because it's a very involved knit. It's a autumn winter knit, and it's a long project, and I was seeing all those beautiful summer knits like coming my way, and I was thinking, oh, it's just gonna happen. I'm gonna look at it from a distance with my big cabley sweater, and it's gonna be over really quick, and I'm still gonna be on my cabley sweater. So I thought, okay, I can pause this big sweater and enjoy the summer knits while it's the season, and come back to it when it's time. So all that to say that Sari Nollund is I just really enjoy her designs, and the Celeste Tea is right up in my knitting dreams. If you also would like to knit the Celeste Tea, leave me a comment below. Maybe we can organize something, informal knit along, or just an Instagram support group, like in a private message or something, where we could exchange progress. Might be fun. I had enough left over from this this tea. This took me a little less than 2 skeins. So great project. 2 skeins, wow. And I had a little bit left, just enough to make a swatch for the Celeste. So basically the Celeste is in DK weight. She holds 2 strands of fingering together, and I wanted to try it in Brise. And I love the fabric. I just need to go down a needle size, because this is 3.5 and it's too big. It's supposed to be 21 stitches per 10 centimeters, and I have 20, so it's too big. I know, like, I have a smaller gauge with 2 strands than I did with 1 strand. My gauge is all over the place. It's crazy. I just accept it and move on. So yes, I love the fabric. I'm just gonna go down, sorry, the sun disappeared. I'm just gonna go down a needle size, and I think I'm gonna make the project in it, and the only thing left is to choose a color, pick my color, and I am hesitating, but not really. I think I have decided whilst talking to you. I am hesitating between this color, which is 2, which is a pretty spring. Oh, we talked about this already. And this color, which is 13, dark sage green, dark-ish. It's still quite summery, not really dark, but you know what I mean. And yes, so I was at first thinking this one, but it really does nothing for my skin tone. It's just not a color I can easily wear, and this is already much better. for my skin tone, I think. Not sure how much is gonna show with the light I have today, but I think this is much easier for me to wear than this. Goes better with my hair. What do you think? Still hesitating a bit, but I think I'm gonna go with this one. And I have a fabric in mind. I have a nice pair of pants that we are gonna show you soon at Rives that may come with a workshop. That would go really well with that color. I think I'm gonna go with that. And knit the Celeste tee, which I'm sure I'm gonna wear tons. And then I have a last item on the menu is I registered, I put my name down for a test knit, which I don't do anymore really because I hesitate to tell you, but I'm a terrible tester. The person who accepted me, don't be scared. I used to be a terrible tester, just meaning that I wouldn't take finished project photos, I wouldn't put it on Instagram. I'm not the best, how would I say this? I'm trying to share more on Instagram more regularly, but I'm not the best. Life just happens and goes fast, and I don't think about sharing, and I don't think about finished project photos. I really much more enjoy this format of YouTube and podcasting, but I put my name down for a test, and I've told myself that I'm gonna be the perfect tester. So I'm gonna take notes, I'm gonna give feedback, I'm gonna take finished object pictures, pretty pictures that I'm gonna put on my Instagram. I'm gonna do a Ravelry project page, which I never do. I think it's not a secret test, but I'm not 100% sure. I need to go back and read the welcoming email just to make sure I can talk about it. I don't want to divulge anything I'm not supposed to, so I'm gonna tell you more next time. I just wanted to show you the yarn. This pretty yarn is, I have this cane here, pretty. It is Urso Yarn Co. Her Blueface Leicester fingering base called PFB, Petite Face Bleue. It is non-superwash Blueface Leicester with, just hang on a sec. Just had to check. So it is 80% non-superwash Blueface Leicester and 20% nylon because it's a sock base. And the colorway is Latte, which is so pretty. So full disclosure, she offered me those canes because she thought they were they had some pink speckles more than she would want for this colorway, more than this color is supposed to have. So it was a bit of a dye mistake, let's say, just happened. And she took them off from her update. So asked if I could knit with them because I really don't mind those pink speckles. And I feel so lucky that she agreed. Paul, the dyer of Urso Yarn Co, is my business partner at Rives. And Urso Yarn Co now lives at Rives. So I am really privileged and fortunate and to have this access to her beautiful yarn. But of course, I do not take it for granted. Let's say. Because it's such nice product. It just so happens that this color, which I had my eye on for some time, had a problematic skeins, let's say. So yeah, I'm gonna do my test knit in this, and I was hesitant because the test, I should tell you, the garment I'm testing is it's another summer tee. so short sleeve tee. And I was thinking, oh, I should knit it in cellulose fiber, so it's summery. The designer did it in linen yarn, I think. So I thought I should go that way, but I really wanted this color. I really saw it in latte. So pretty. So I really saw it in this color. And then I thought, I'm gonna try it in a wool yarn, see how much wear I get out of it. I could layer it in autumn and winter. It's a kind of a neutral, soft brown like this. So I could wear it with tons of things. And also, I'm sure I'm not the only one with that problem. We have a bit of a problem with having the house at the right temperature in the summer, because we have a central, how do you call that? A thermal pump? I don't know how you call it, but we have a central heating and cooling system, and the house is on 3 stories or 2 stories, and it's just hard to keep it even throughout the house. And Mihai, my son, sleeps upstairs, and we want to keep it cool for him to nap well, because he's really a warm baby who gets really warm, so we want to keep it cool. And to keep the upstairs cool, we have to keep the downstairs a bit too cool for my taste. I would like it to be a bit warmer, but there you go. It's we do the best we can. And so I think a woolly t-shirt, a woolly tee would be very welcome to wear, because I want to wear short sleeve. It is summer, but this could keep me just warm enough for the house. There you go. These are my projects. I'm gonna stop fiddling with the cakes. I like it so much. Yes, there you go. These are my next projects. So again, if you want to knit the Celeste tee with me, you would be very welcome. So just leave me a comment below. I've asked as well in the French version of this journal, so maybe we could be a couple of people. Really, I'm not creating a knit along or anything like it. It's just something informal that we could do either on Ravelry or Instagram. And it just could be fun to show our progress, and it's such a beautiful pattern. There you go. And oh, garden news. I haven't talked to you about my garden because nothing happened. So I'm still so all my seedlings are still in their pots, and I'm taking them out and in and out and in, because the nights are still a bit cold. And so the beds are all ready. In the veg garden, the beds are ready. I went to my aunt, who live really close by, to pick up some compost, because she has the best compost. It is kitchen scraps and horse and chicken manure. It is the best. It is very potent compost, and yeah, I am really grateful to go and pick it up and add it to my garden. So I just need to put it in the bed, mix the soil lightly mix the soil, and then I will be ready to plant all my seedlings in. So there you go. This is what's been happening. It's been so great to talk to you in this space. I've been really tired, of course, because of my son's teething, but it's worse for him, of course, poor thing. But I was, just very, very grateful to record today and talk to you about my projects. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some inspiration out of it and empowerment to adjust your patterns, both knitting and sewing as well. And there you go. Leave me a comment if you like. I really enjoy reading comments. And of course, being a francophone, my French podcast is at the moment doing a lot better than my English version, but I am keeping at it because I want to share as much as possible. So leave me a comment. I would be really grateful. Bye. See you next time.